A little while ago, I was having students uh, not want to play and practice and learn their scales. So I sent emails out to every saxophone teacher that I could find on the internet. And these are three of the responses that I got from Paul Merrill, who was the director of jazz ensembles at Cornell University. He simply said, scales are water, a necessity. Donald Cinta, professor of music and saxophone at Michigan University, wrote, I've been playing for 62 years and did my scales again this morning. And one of the responses I'm most proud of is from Chris Vidala, who was the director of jazz studies at the University of Maryland and the saxophone player with Chuck Mangione for many years. They're important. Well, hey, y'all. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Saxophone Factory. It's been a while, and for those of you who are celebrating Christmas around the world, Merry Christmas. And for my friends who are getting ready to celebrate Hanukkah, Happy Hanukkah to you. We appreciate everybody's participation this year, and I want to thank you. I really do. We are close to getting 1,000 subscribers on this channel, and I am stoked. When we reach that, then our next goal is to get 4,000 hours next year watched. So maybe we have a chance to get monetized. And if we get monetized, it isn't the money that'll make the difference. It's the reach that will make the difference. I wanted to talk about scales. I just posted a video talking about an email that I sent to a number of saxophone instructors around the country a number of years ago. Paul Merrill said scales are water. Paul was the director of jazz ensembles at Cornell University. Donald Cinta, who, if you know anything about classical saxophone, Donald Cinta is one of the stalwarts and greatest classical saxophonists ever. Said, I've been playing for 62 years at that point and did his scales again this morning. Chris Vidala, you know Vidala, who taught at the University of Maryland after a long career with playing saxophone with Chuck Mangione. He said, I absolutely believe in a regimen of scales to gain technical facility in all keys. And it unifies command of the instrument in all registers. It makes the thing solid in all registers. Again, Chris was the director of jazz studies at the University of Maryland. So what we're going to do here in this video is I'm going to give you some real simple, some very simple exercises on how you approach learning your scales. I am not a fan of the scale sheet, so please don't go and download a scale sheet. I have the charts for both the flats and the flat and the sharp scales in a short that I've already produced, and I will put that link to that short in the description box, so you can go and look at those charts, make screenshots, and follow the charts. The first one we're going to do is we're going to work in sharps because I'm playing alto. We're going to work in sharps, and I want to start on the G scale. The G scale goes from G to G. We're only going to play scales 1 octave for now. If it's 2 octaves possible, then you should play the scale both octaves. But we're going to start on G. It's only 1 octave. And the first thing we're going to do is, sometimes they call them pentatonic scales, but we're only going to play the first 5 notes of the scale. Up and back. Should sound something like this. I'll do it again. So we'll get used to the major sound that's in our ear, and the major sound comes from the interval between the first note and the third note. The first 5 notes of the scale. Get used to doing that. And now we're going to play the entire scale going up and then we're going to stop. Now we know that that scale has an F sharp in it. If you look at the charts, that has an F sharp in it. Okay? G to G with an F sharp. Not an F, but an F sharp. An F sharp is fingered 1, 2, 3, 5, and the octave key. Let's try this. Let's try that scale one more time. Now you try. Alrighty. That's going to take a little practice, but not a problem. Now we're going to play the scale going up and coming down. We're going to articulate all the notes going up and coming down. One more time. Practice that until you get good at it and you get comfortable at it. And then we're going to add something called the arpeggio. The arpeggio is just sort of an outline of the chord. The arpeggio has the first note of the scale, the third note in the scale, the fifth note, and the octave. Remember I talked about the major, how the major feel is? And that's the first to the third note. And now we're going to add the fifth note in the scale. And the octave, 8 notes above where we started. And then back down to the fifth note, the third note, and then where we started on the root note. So now we're going to play the entire arpeggio all the way up, and then we're going to stop. 1, 3, 5, 8. We'll do it again. Okay, now we're going to play the entire arpeggio all the way up and then all the way down. Now remember, the arpeggio is just the first, the third, the fifth, and the octave. Why don't you try it? Now you'll have plenty of time to practice. And if you have questions, please leave the questions down there in the comments, and we'll address even specific comments and questions. Okay. So what we hope to do is we hope to play the scale and attach the arpeggio to it. As a matter of fact, when we are learning our scales and performing our scales, it is customary to play the scale and the arpeggio as one thing. It should sound like this. You see how it was all one thing? I played the scale up and down, and then I play the arpeggio up and down. Now that's just the G scale. Practice that one first. Again, the short to the scale charts that I put on, is that link should be in the description box. If not, you can look it up here on the channel. Do this with all 12 of the major scales. First learning the 5-note pattern, and then in the entire scale ascending, and then the entire scale ascending and descending, the arpeggio 1, 3, 5 ascending, and then the arpeggio 1, 3, 5 octave, 5, 3, 1 descending, up and down, and then put them together. Listen, learning your scales are going to be something that sets your playing free. key signatures won't scare you. When you're starting to learn jazz improvisation, a really conversant understanding of scales is going to be critical. I hope that learning these scales and practicing these scales will be beneficial to you. Again, if I don't see you until before Christmas, and I'm guessing I might, again, Merry Christmas to you. Happy Hanukkah to my friends who are celebrating Hanukkah. And just like always, keep practicing.